not just cameras now, too. Everyone good?
Yep.
Okay, let's open up for questions for Coach and Wes Wilcox.
Do you want us to introduce? Okay.
Yeah.
We met a while back, but Josh Furlong, KSL.com. Alex, just what does it mean to you to finally start getting into practice and getting into this with your team ahead of the season?
It's actually fun. There's definitely a learning curve coming from the NBA to college, but it's exciting. At the same time, you want to take 2 steps forward. It's a little too fast, if that makes any sense. But no, it's actually fun because we have a new roster, staff is new, and so that's kind of the fun part about coaching is watch it play out and see how the pieces come together.
Steve Bartle, KSL Sports. Wes, for you, finally, closing in on the opportunity to see this team come together and what it looks like. Just where's the excitement level for you and just kind of the overall vibe around the program?
Yeah, I would say very positive in general about the vibe around the program. It's really interesting as we try to get to learn the team. As Al said, we have a new staff. We have, for the most part, a new group of players. And so getting a chance to watch that group come together has been a lot of fun. I would say the thing that sticks out the most right now is the work that the group is putting in. It's a serious group, and the competitive nature of the group. It is a group that is working really hard and trying to get better.
For both of you, I'm Sammy Moore with YouthZone.com, which is part of 24/7 Sports. But have you guys felt the excitement from the fan base as as the days get closer and closer to tip off?
Yes, I have. I have for sure. Being from here, obviously I have family and friends, and a lot of those friends I met through the university. So yeah, there's an excitement. It's something that as a staff and our players we share. So at the same time, we're trying to be methodical and do it the right way, and put a product out there that we're not only proud of, but the fans and community are as well.
I know if we're trying to get through a football game, walking with this guy, the excitement is incredible because it's hard to take a couple steps without stopping and hearing it. So yeah.
Brandon Judd with Deseret News. Wes, when you hired and you worked together with Alex in Canton, was that kind of the first experience you had with him? Did you know much about him prior to that? How did that kind of happen?
Yeah, so I've known of and met Al the first time when I was a college student working camps as a camp coach here at the University of Utah when Majerus was coaching and Al was playing. We don't remember each other. Well, Al doesn't remember me, I should say. I certainly remember Al very well. But there's a lot of connections to Utah for me personally. I ended up working for Donnie Daniels, who was an assistant coach under that team at Cal State Fullerton, and been very close with Coach Daniels along the way. And so, just knew a great deal about how this program had operated and how incredibly successful this program was historically, and of all the incredible players that have been through this program. I knew that Alex Jensen was unique amongst an incredible group of people. And so as soon as he started his coaching career, one of the things that we're always trying to do is, you're not just building the team on the court, you're building the team off the court. And so when I was fortunate to lead that search, my first phone call to Al, we joked because I called and asked if he had interest in the job, and he very nicely said no. And I very nicely said, well, do you mind at least listening to the pitch? And, it ended up where a great friendship professionally and personally, and could not think more highly of him as a person and a coach.
When, I guess, bringing it kind of back to modern day, when you decided to leave the Kings, what kind of was the draw for you to leave that position and come work with them again?
Yeah, well, I was super fortunate and have a ton of respect for so many people in Sacramento. Vivek Ranadive is an amazing mentor and person to work for. Monty McNair, Matina, so many great people there. But in this new era of college sports that is in some ways being professionalized, it's a unique new space, and then an opportunity to work with someone that I have the highest level of respect for in the world of basketball at a place in Utah, the university that has just an incredible basketball history. I thought it was super exciting, and I'm grateful and humbled to be here.
You guys have talked about wanting to have versatility in your roster. As you've seen summer workouts and as you get into this, how much of the identity of this team is going to shift, or do you kind of have a good idea of what you guys have?
Getting a better idea every day, and it's kind of I mentioned it earlier, it's one of the fun parts about the situation we're in, and one of the struggles. I think that's what probably makes it fun, because we talk about, we don't know who's going to start right now, what the rotations will be like, and it's actually been enjoyable because I like the group we have, and there's a lot of different combinations I think that we can go through. So that'll be the good thing about practice starting on Monday. We'll have more opportunity to see those combinations together. You know, there'll be positions some of our players haven't been in a lot, but it's fun to watch it come together and those guys play together in different roles.
For you guys, you know, you just picked up a commitment from a kid earlier this week. That's a new realm in terms of what you guys are coming into the recruiting world. We talked about it last time we got together. How much more comfortable do you feel in this new world of college basketball and the recruiting and all of that sort of stuff?
I would say, it's changing I think it's evolving. Like, it's changing every day. So you're trying to figure out how it works right now. You know, we're coming from the NBA. It's a learning experience. But at the same time, you're trying to anticipate how it's going to evolve and change in the future. But no, I think we talk about it all the time. No matter what level you're on, there's certain things that bring success in basketball. And we keep going back to those, and have as our foundation. But we get more comfortable in this space. Wes talks about it all the time. For 25 years, he knew 50 players really good. Now that pool's much bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
And that from high school to the portal to Europe.
Yeah, and to that point, that's one of the exciting parts of this job, is there are so many opportunities. If you do the work, you spend the time, you have the relationship network, all of which we certainly do. And we absolutely know the way that we want to play and the characteristics of a team that we believe this community, this university, will be proud of. And we are going to build to those characteristics. And so it's actually like, in some ways, we think of it as like maybe there's certainly a disadvantage because we haven't been in the recruiting trail for years, but maybe there's an opportunity that we're coming at this with fresh eyes as the landscape is changing dramatically, and we're not anchored to anything that's happened in college sports in the past. We're looking at everything that's going on and saying, okay, where's the opportunity? How do we take advantage of it? What are the characteristics we're looking for? And that part has been like super fun. So, we're certainly 5 months or 6 months into it. We feel more confident now. We're humble in the approach that we still have like a lot to learn, but we are like excited and driven to try to figure that out and confident that we're going to be able to get there.
Obviously, people want wins. That's why you coach, right? Or play the games, I should say. But for you guys, in this first season especially, what individually do you guys kind of feel will be success?
It's a good question. I'm not sure how to measure that, but I can say this, like, nobody wants to win more than us. And at the same time, I tell recruits and people all the time that myself and the staff, Wes and the rest of everybody, we had jobs. Like we came here, we didn't come here to knock it out of the park in a year, but like I said, there's just, no matter what level of basketball you're on, there's certain characteristics that breed success. We don't want to be successful for 1 year or two. We want to be successful for the duration. And through the decisions I've made through the staff and the roster and other things, been very methodical and going to do it the right way. Now, again, like I said, I'm not going to want to ever lose a game, and I'm sure it'll happen. But I think there's a process. Wes has been through more than I have that breeds success, and I think we're following that same guideline this time through too.
The US.
Yeah, the success question, I think, has to be answered with we are relentlessly competitive and want to win every single game. No question about it. And Al said the same. But the I'll say it this way. I would hope that this community sees a product on the court that they believe in and the way that this team is going to play. And eventually, I hope we are there game 1, and if not game 1, game 5, and if not game 5, then game 15. But in time, without question, there will be an incredibly competitive, unselfish, hardworking, physical basketball team that is hard to play against. And you guys know Alex Jensen as a player better than I. Who he was as a player is the exact same type of team that we want to build on the court, and those characteristics are just what we laid out.
Alex, how important is Keanu been, as guys get on campus and they get acclimated to, life here on the University of Utah?
He's been really important. In fact, that's, one of the challenges we've given him because of that and other things, to be more of a, I don't want to use the word leader, but be more aggressive, more confident, not afraid to make mistakes. It's a message I've tried to give to all of our guys, but he's made a lot of strides, I think, this summer, and he's going to be a big, big piece to what we do and our success.
Got time for one more?
Just with how many guys are new on this team, Alex, what is the value of having these 2 exhibition games with Nevada and Oregon, a couple games to be able to, work through things?
Oh, no, they're great. And I think, we have the option of doing the close scrimmage or the exhibition game. And I think, the exhibition game, not just for the players, I think for, the staff's new as well, just to go through that process, the build up, the scout, it's invaluable. I think it's really good. And we got 2 really good teams in Oregon and Nevada to do that with.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.